Leeds United in the Europa League. Europa League. We tell them one time and we say Europa League. Europa.
God, that song's just sad now, isn't it? It's literally just sad. Bloody hell. This is the full-time view. It's Spurs 1, Manchester United 0 in the Europa League final. A Europa League defeat. Manchester United will not be in the Champions League next season. This will be, I mean, it was our worst season ever, but it's just been guaranteed. We're having no cracks being papered over. It's just absolutely shocking. And obviously you saw at the end of that match view, emotions certainly running very, very high. Just thinking about the ramifications of what's to come to that. I mean, genuinely, I am in shock because I really did. Obviously, look, going into the game, I was talking a lot with chest, not even looking at that door, not even thinking about a loss or anything like that. Because I really did believe. But what we've seen this evening from the players, what we've seen from the head coach is absolutely scandalous, in my opinion. You've got, the coach taking way too long to put players on the pitch in terms of substitutions. You've got senior players not showing up. Your captain, Bruno Fernandes, not showing up. Senior players like Casemiro, Shaw, etc., not showing up. And it's just horrible, absolutely horrible. And now, again, I admit that during the match view, I don't believe that the Amarin project, because to make that project work, he needs players. We can't get players. If we won that match, we could have got players, and maybe you could have bought in, but now we can't. And now you've got to make the best of, what you've got. You've got to make the best of what you've got, and you've already said that you can't. So where do we go? We're in huge, huge, huge trouble. And even I think this is the concern too, is I feel like more time's going to get wasted, to be honest, because I don't see any change. And if there's no change, then he's probably going to end up getting the sack in September or maybe just before Christmas. And we're going to waste 5-6 months, aren't we? It's just absolutely shocking. This is the full-time view. Members can call in and have their say. Of course, if you do wish to become a member, links in the video description. You can also click the join button. It's in the live chat as well. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the chat, I mean, it's very, 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 as you would expect, very rough. We've already got 1,000 people watching. Click the like button because we're going to be in it together, guys. We're going to be in it together for a long, long time. And now, this is when we can't go at each other's necks or throats. I think we've got to have legitimate, serious conversations. Skiliano says, and to be honest, I get it with the anger with this kind of stuff, but to me, that is not the gotcha that you think it is when people say that. Who would you hire to replace Ruben then? That's not my decision, is it? I'm totally with that. Would I trust Inos to get it right? They've got nothing right. You know what I mean? They've got nothing right. So I wouldn't have faith that they would bring in the right person. But also, that they're lucky to keep their jobs. Omar Barada, Jason Wilcox, Dave Brailsford. Like I said, we look like a bunch of cyclists trying to play football out there. We're shit. It's just bad. Let's get to the calls. Let's start off with JJ. JJ, talk to me. I mean, we've had some dark conversations here on this show, but I didn't think it was going to get this bad. Where do you even begin with that one?
It's sad that the only things that we've been able to have so far this season is sad and dark conversations, man. I guess it's time for us to do some type of autopsy, right? And I've been thinking throughout the whole game, I've had to ask as much chest as possible, and I broke it down in 3 ways, and I promise not to take too much of a time.
No, that's what the forum's for.
We've got broke owners, Owen. Like, let's be serious. If you right now, like the way KG just got a house with the wifey and everything like that, imagine they finish buying the house and then they're asking each other, do we have money to get a couch? Like,
literally.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You are coming into a project and you tell us that all you had to spend was the initial 200 million. after the 2 billion that you paid. Like, don't you know that this is going to cost us some type of money? Like, this is buying a freaking football club. This is not just you buying some stupid cycling team or whatever F1 or whatever it is that they were doing before. You came to get a stake in a football club, but you clearly don't have the money to run a football club. You have to fire people. You can't even afford your employees. You can't afford the players. We've been scammed. Like, seriously, we've been, but clearly there's not so much we can do to change that. So let's put that on the side. Let's put that on the side. I don't want to say I'm hammering him on out, but if I'm to do it, it's on one condition. If he starts the season, he has to end the season. All of these middle of the season BS that we did, give him some money to spend, like we did with ETH, but then sack him 10 games into it. That is BS. You do not run a business like that. You don't do that. But here's my issue with him, and I was saying it on KG's show, right? I won't be as reckless as I was on it. You do not go into a marriage and say you only have sex one way. I'm sorry. There is a whole freaking damn Kama Sutra that is out there with different positions, but you came into a marriage and you say, oh, check it out, I only do missionary. Excuse me? Are we freaking serious? You came into a league, the league of Arsene Wenger, the league of Pep Guardiola, the league of Sir Alex, the league of great coaches that have done it, Jose Mourinho, that have done it in and out. And each one of those great coaches, they didn't just have a plan A. They might start with a 3-4-3 with the 2 10s inside and switch to a 3-4-3 with the wingers out there. And over and over and over, you open your mouth and say, no, I'm not going to change. I'm sorry, you might have won the Portuguese league, but hey, it's not even the 5th best league in the world. Okay, so it might have worked with those mediocre competitions, but this is the freaking Premier League. Even Pep Guardiola, when he was in Barcelona, he gave us the 3-4-3 with Eto'o in the middle. He gave us the 4-3-3 with Eto'o in the middle. He gave us the 4-3-3 with a false 9. Even when he came, he mixed it up. He gave us the 3-2-5. I don't have a coaching license, but geez, we've been doing this. I'm almost the same age as Amaran. I'm 37. So we've probably been exposed to football the same time. We've been watching the same thing, and not once. And I'll be honest, you see, I wasn't even mad at the starting lineup. I wasn't. Okay, yeah. We start because football is like chess. You start a certain way, but you make adjustments. Owen, please tell me, what is one adjustment he made today? I looked at the face of Kobe when Kobe was coming in at the 86 or 88 minute.
Yeah.
He looked dejected. He doesn't even look happy. You had Mazraoui play. What game have we won this season with Mazraoui at right wing back? 0 games. You could have moved him to centre back. You could have moved Shaw out. Because you put Ahmed in the 10. Ahmed was driving out to the wing, to the right wing, where he was much more comfortable. So why don't you put Garnacho and Mount together in the 10? Because those do play naturally in the 10. And I like, as much as I want to go off on the players, hey, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. They've done this all this while. They are criminals, they are armed robbers. We've seen it over and over. So I'm not shocked about the players. But the coach set them up for success. And this guy, and I'll be very honest, Owen, this guy put us in a place where Sean freaking died. He's saying, you know what? Give me a crack to come and coach United. Sean freaking, are we serious? Sean Dyche from Burnley? That same Sean Dyche? I'm sorry. Like if they're going to keep him, They need to recruit in such a way where it is not just people that fit in a system. But if they're not going to keep him for the whole season, I'm sorry, next week we should part ways. That's all. I'm done.
JJ's done. I mean, guys, follow that. I mean, that's one heck of a fucking promo, right? By JJ there. We got a bunch of super chats. N248, big up JJ. Appreciate you calling in as always. Onana, Shaw, Amarin, Bruno, Casemiro, all at fault. Falcon Shuffle says, sell everyone, sack the manager. Let's get ready to get relegated. Matt says, where do we go next, Owen? That was disgusting. Did they know they were in a European final? I don't think our captain did. And I think that big question there, and that's the question, isn't it? Where do we go next? And I have no idea. And I don't even know if it's up. You know, they say, well, at least the only way is up. Not really for United at the moment. Doesn't feel like it. Actually, at the weekend, we might lose. You never know what happened with Spurs. We could end up going even further down. We could end up 17th, the worst of the rest, because that's what we are. Ted's the latest member of the UV Members Club. Welcome to you, Ted. N248 says 16th, can't pass, can't score, can't save, no hope. And Harshbade says, if Amarin comes to you and asks to sell Garnacho and Meno to fund players for his system, would you? If not, it's time to go. Continue to get your super chats in. Also, click the like button. We've got over 1,200 people watching. It's not to like this evening, but you can like the stream if you haven't already. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, talk to me. I mean, it's a very, very low point, a real low point. Do you see any recovery from this? Not only for Amarin, but for a lot of these players, the senior players? Are United now set back for the next 3 or 4 years?
Yes, I think they're set back for the next 3-4 years. But I'm a bit emotional, to be honest. I was at the Lyon game when we won,
of course,
5-4, and I remember now. So I cried when it was 5-4 because the emotion felt like I'm here now emotional. Not crying, but I am a little bit teary in the sense that this is if we didn't know beforehand, this is a significant moment for the next 3, 4, 5 years. The consequences of this match, I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying this. There are moments in time in your life whereby a certain event has knock-on effects. This is one of them. And if you ask me the question, manager in, manager out, I don't care. I'm manager out anyway because I agree with everything what you're saying. But first and foremost, Omar Barada needs to go. Because it was Omar Barada who went to him mid-season, now or never. Dan Ashworth said, if you bring this guy in, he plays in a certain system. The players that we have do not suit that system. Maybe this is not the option. And Jim the Rat said, okay, the Dan Ashworth had to go, or I keep Omar Barada. And he let go of Dan Ashworth. 6 months down the line, these are the consequences. So for me, as much as I want to say Amarim out, and I think he has to go. Omar Barada needs to go as well then, because you've clearly not been able to handle business as well from football structure and from a football operations perspective, and everybody seems to be missing that point.
I think it's a really good point. I think that once again, this is why you look at people like Dave Brailsford being involved in the football side of things. He's got no business being involved in that. Marginal gains. This is when I laughed. That's why I had that big argument with KG way back when of this whole, marginal games. We made slight improvements. How can you make slight improvements and be tumbling down the table to 16th or 17th? We have got worse. I mean, under Amarin, we've got worse, but also under Inos, we've got worse. Considerably worse, and now it's just it's shocking.
I hear what you're saying, Owen, and it's fair that I think Ineos have done some good things in terms of recruitment. Some of the players that they recruited is fair, but for me, what's more concerning is the fact that the decision making on the calls and the big decisions when the recruiting players has been horrendously wrong. And do we trust these guys to sort of do the rebuild? We're planning to, the track record is horrendous. Omar Barada said, we're going to win the Premier League by 2028.
Yeah.
It's just like, let that sink in. These are the guys who are in charge. And you know what? I will say Amarin should go. But I actually don't blame Amarin because he knows his way of playing. He knows this is the way he knows. It's the people who brought him in. I blame them the most because there must have been other managers out there who could have done a job better than Amarin by now. And the last thing I'd say is talking about this match today, Owen. We've got to talk about this match, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
Before the match, when I heard, what's his name, Madison, Kulusevski speaking, and I was thinking, yes, we've genuinely got a chance because we've got Bruno Fernandes, we've got Ahmad, but our players did not show up, and it's disgusting in a final like that for especially Bruno, Casemiro, and Ahmad to a certain extent. Ahmad played all right the first time, but these players just did not exist. I mean, what is that about? I mean, that's disgusting. And the fact we've lost against Spurs, of all the fucking teams we could have lost, losing to Spurs, who are. Sorry, Owen. One more thing. The goal, they didn't even bloody score the goal. That's the thing. If we got beaten by a team that played well and scored a worldie, fair enough. Hands up. Well done. We deserve that. But it was an own goal by Luke Shaw, which led them to win the cup. I'm done, Owen. Sorry. Let me go.
Yeah, well, no, I think it's like a lot of people are speaking at the moment. It's just pure frustration. We're caught up when it comes to super chats. Let's continue with the course. We've got so many to get to here. Let's go to Show. I'm sure Show will have a lot to say. Show, I mean, what do you think happens next? Where do we go from here? That's the big question.
Yeah, I mean, talking on the game first is a disgusting performance in a disgusting season and what is now a disgusting club. I actually imagine calling you today saying words like, I know we won the final and we won this cup, but it needs to get better because, like you, I just thought we would win. No reason why, just thought we would win just because it's the team that we were playing against. And now we know the whole heritage factor is gone from this club now. I think from today, it's gone. We can't use the word heritage anymore because you lose to a Spurs team that's lost 21 league games, the worst Spurs team in the Premier League era, and we've lost to them 4 times in one season. And they kept 3 clean sheets against us, a team that can't defend. And I think the excuses just ran out. I just think for Amorim now, I just think it's not even a way where, I wanted Ten Hag out badly. I think with Ten Hag, I just came to not like the guy, the way he was gaslighting fans. With Amorim, I just think too much damage. Too much damage has been done in the time he's been here. I just think it's untenable. He's got to walk. But it's more on the people above him than it is him, in my opinion, because this has all snowballed from last summer, the decision to keep Ten Hag. Because since that decision, this whole season has been an absolute shambles from start to finish. It wasn't just a shambles from when Amorim was hired, because he was hired because the previous manager was sacked for a reason, right? And it's just been, I think, I don't know, it's hard to put into words just because
well, even the postseason review, remember that last year? And like the 2-3 weeks of and then they're flying to, was it Magaluf to go and see? It's just a mess. The whole thing's just been a mess. It's been, and like you said, there's a domino effect to all of that. Every time they've tried to sort of steady the ship, they found a way to make it worse. And
that's exactly it.
It's bad. It's incredible.
It's exactly. It's like we obviously didn't want the Glazers in charge because we know how bad they've been, but yet I genuinely think the Ineos are worse. Because I think the evidence shows that so far. And then it's like, we didn't want Ten Hag, but then Amorim's been worse. So it's just like, somehow we've managed to become like last season was the worst season ever in the Premier League era. And yet we've managed to find a new low. And it's just, I think the club's going to be in a dark place for a few years now, because I just think of the transfer budget's heavily slashed now. I think it's probably just going to be Cunha and Delap, and that's it. Probably looks by the sounds of it, probably means Onana again next season. Probably keeping Højlund. You're probably keeping the likes of Luke Shaw, probably keeping the likes of Mason Mount, trying to find. And it's just, but I just think this system, with what Amorim needs, needing a specialist for every single one of his positions, it's just not going to work. And I just think today, the reason why I said the excuses have run out is because I look at Ange today, right? And as soon as they went a goal in front, he played a low block. Ange isn't a low block manager. And they had 3 players out. They had the Kulusevski, Madison, and Bergvall out. That's a whole midfield. And they didn't even start Son. He actually adapted. And they didn't start Son, right? And Ange showed today that he can adapt. And yet I look at Amorim, it took him 70, what he was watching, to make a sub. Wait 70 minutes to make a sub. And by the way, throughout the whole of the match, he still wouldn't put Ahmad in his best position, which is right wing back, even though he was putting out to the right side anyway. And like I think JJ mentioned perfectly, what game have we won with Mazraoui at right wing back? The evidence is there, and it's just, yeah, I think the whole thing today, I think it's one of the things, the chickens have come home to roost, I think. I think we've been getting away with it, winning cups, picking up cups in bad seasons. Like, I mean, if you go back to 2017, we picked up the Europa League when we finished sixth. You know what I'm saying? Like, it goes back to then. You know, under Van Gaal, we finished fifth. I won an FA Cup. You know, last season we finished eighth. I won an FA Cup. So it's like that only lasts for so long until the cracks finally just completely break open, and it's happened now. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. I think next season could be as bad as this. I really think that it could be. It could be. It's not. It's not an exaggeration to say that we could be down there again, 16th, 17th next season.
Well, and it's also like the people have said, isn't it? It's like, well, let's say we finish 13th, 14th. That's seen as an improvement on this season, but that's still really, really bad, really bad.
Yeah,
It's
no.
like, so how do we? But also, how do you make that leap from 16th to getting back into the top six? You kind of don't. So
Yeah,
again, like you said, where do we go?
It's true. It's true. It's like even let's say we finish 10th next season, right? It's like 6th or 7th places above what we finished. But 10th doesn't do anything for United as a club because it doesn't give us the Champions League money. So even if we finish 10th next season, people will say, "Oh, look, the process is working." But it's like, yeah, the process is working, but what kind of process is this really? Because what we're going to do 10, then 9, then 8, then I mean, it's a very, very slow process, and in the meantime, we're getting zero benefit from it. So I don't. I just think, look, I'll be shocked. I'll be honest. I'll be shocked if Amrim doesn't resign himself because I just think how much damage can one coach take? I mean, it's just. I think I think in a way, because we've had this Europa League run, I think it's deflected. Not deflect because I think some fans have still kind of pointed out the Premier League run and how bad it's been. But when you kind of actually let deep it now and look at it, just some of the statistics, some of the records, 3 of the four losses against Spurs have been under him alone. And just like you said, the last league win against a non-relegated team, I think end of January against Fulham, and the last league win just in general was 2 months ago. I mean, you know what's mad is I was fasting during Ramadan, the last time we won the league game. That's the last time we wanted to. I mean, I finished fasting a long time ago. I mean, it's been a few months, and we haven't won a league game. So it's just been,
God.
yeah.
Yes, man, it's rough. I mean, lucky he wasn't fasting until we win another game. Could you imagine? Show wouldn't be with us anymore. God, my God. Where are we at in terms of super chats? Danny DeFito says it's been on for 7 months. Says just look at last year's FA Cup final. Erik ten Hag had a fully fit Rasmus, who hadn't had an awful season but opted not and to play the 9. Shame on Ruben. And Josie's been around for 35 months. Says I don't entirely blame Amram, but it's going to be really hard to come back from this. The abject displays are damning on a coach. We can't ignore that. And that's where I'm at. Like, it's not to say like, oh, Ruben, this is all everything right now where we are is completely your fault, because that's way too an oversimplification, isn't it? Clearly, there are a multitude of factors at play here. Ineos, the players, the Glazers, the debt, etc., etc. But that also doesn't give you, for me, like this whole, it's a write-off, blind faith. You've got to show something. And now that we've obviously lost in the final, the Europa League is now meaningless because we didn't get anything from it. So the Europa League's meaningless. So all you can focus on is what happened in the league this season, and we're 16th. Like where do we go? Let's go to another call. Let's go to GJE. I mean, I think that picture probably sums it up. That's how a lot of us are feeling right now. What do you make of it all? Where do we go from here?
Man, Owen, I really don't know. I really don't know where we go from here. All I know is that, like everyone has kind of said, there's a chance that next season, who says that we can't finish 16th, 17th again? Who says that we might not even get relegated at this rate? Because if you asked us last season when we finished 8th and we won the FA Cup, I don't think a lot of us thought that we'll finish 17th, 16th. So who says like anything could happen as of this rate? And personally, how I feel about the manager, I've always kind of said that I don't like the fact that it has to be one game to decide his future. I feel like if it ever gets to a point where if you win a game, you keep your job, or if you lose your game, you lose your job. I think that's already ground for me to say the manager has to go. So I feel like regardless if Amarim won this tournament, he had to leave because it's clearly not good enough. I mean, people want to give the manager an excuse to say he needs a preseason, he needs his transfers. You're telling me that a manager of Manchester United needs a preseason not to finish 16th in the league, not to get over 40 points. You can't defend that. That is poor. This is Man United. Man United should be on the club on the level of a Barcelona, of a Real Madrid, of like certain big clubs. Do you feel like clubs like that, if a manager was 16th in the league, they will keep that manager? There's no way. The manager has to go. The manager has to go. Unfortunately, this job was probably just too big for him. He's clearly not delivered. The league form is terrible. It's not good. And I don't see where it takes us from here. And the manager's not willing to change his tactics, not willing to adapt. I think I had the previous caller speak about how many different managers have come to the league and won it in different ways, different styles. It's not just your way. Your way is not the only way. If it's not working, change it. Why are you not changing it? And we saw that today. I know the players didn't perform to the best of their standards today, but I really feel like Amarim let us down in the final. Like personally, I thought the team was wrong. Like everyone has said it, Marzarari right wing back. I thought it was terrible. I thought that wasn't good. Bruno playing deep. Why are you playing Bruno, our best attacking player, in that should be in the 10? Not once did I see Bruno have a shot. Not once did I see that attacking threat from Bruno. You're playing him deep, and even though it's for the first goal, Bruno lost the ball in that position, playing in the eighth, because that's who we know Bruno is. Bruno is not the kind of player to hold the ball, keep it tidy. He's always going to lose it, and he did, and that's when we conceded the first goal. And for us to go into a final, and then you see that it's not working, even the commentators were begging. They were begging, like, what is going on? Like, maybe Bruno should go up front. Everyone could see it. And Amram just sat there, didn't change anything to the 70 something minute before we had the first. Spurs even brought us subs before us, and they were winning the game. And they were winning the game. What, like, we're all watching the game knowing this is going wrong, and you're not changing anything. Mason Mount, I can't lie to you. I know some people like him, they think he's creative, but I don't see what he offers to the team. You're playing Mason Mount in the 10 over Bruno Fernandes. Amad Diallo was always coming from the right wing back. Why is Amad Diallo playing the 10? Why are you not putting him in the right wing back? It's just things like that. Like, why are you not? What are you doing? You're not influencing the game. Hoyland was just terrible all game. Like, offered nothing. It was like, honestly, man, it was just honestly a poor performance. And I just don't see how Amorim brings this back. Like, people were like the thing about it is that I remember when Moyes joined Man United, and we finished sixth. This fan base was screaming like it was the worst thing ever in our history. When Eric Ten Hag was finishing eighth, there was a large section of the fan base that were like, get this man out of here. A manager is finished 16th, and I'm still hearing people trying to support this. It makes no sense. The standards have clearly dropped. And Ineos needs to take responsibility for this. How have Ineos come in here? They've let Dan Ashworth go within how many months? Omar Barada that we put in to make these decisions. He's just, I don't know what's in his mind, picking a manager that the players do not suit his system whatsoever. It's all a shambles. We've actually gotten worse. And who says that it can't get worse? Who says that? We can't say it, because last season people would have said there's no way we'll get worse. Come on. And we're now the club to let Spurs win a European title. Like, I don't know in how many years, I don't know, but we Spurs now have won a trophy because of us. That is, the heritage. Come on, man. I can't hear it. It's bad. It's so bad. Honestly, it's terrible. I don't know where we go from it.
No, I agree with what GJ is saying there. I think he makes actually a really good point when he says that if you'd have said after the end of last season we could finish 16th, 17th, you would literally go, you're fucking nuts just to say that. But here we are. So we have no right now when we say like next season we could actually get like relegated. No, that won't happen. Wow. Who's to say? Who's to say? Look, we could always outdo ourselves. You know what I mean? Absolutely. Amador says, "Oh, well done on getting Joe Blackburn on UV. Big up, Joe. He's done a lot today. Big up. 2 strong debuts on the morning show and on the match view." If you haven't already, click the like button. We've got close to 1,400 people watching this. If we can get to 500 likes, do something the players can't, and that's actually achieve something. Just some quotes coming out from Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim said after the game, quote, "I will not quit. I am confident in my job and I will not change anything. If the board or fans feel that I'm not the right guy, I will go the next day without any conversation about compensation. but I will not quit. So he says, I'm not going to quit, but if people don't think I'm the right guy, if the board, if the fans don't think I'm the right guy, I'll go. I'll walk. You don't have to worry about paying me off. I'll go. And to be honest, if he mentions that whole thing about not being paid or anything like that, it's probably be music to Inos' ears, to be honest. But I'm not sure how you can come out after a final and be like, I will not change anything. How you can give Spurs a European trophy? Yeah, I'm not going to change anything. That is, and by the way, yeah, I am not having this whole. He said a storm was coming, yeah, because the amount of longevity people have got out of that fucking storm comment, yeah. Well, he said a storm was going to come. Oh, come on, how long has it been here? It's been 6 months. I said it's like that storm that's on Jupiter that's been ongoing for like 10, 20 years. 20 years. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. What are we talking about? He said the storm was going to come. All right. Okay. You're meant to fix it. You're meant to control the weather. You know, that's you. He said, I will not defend myself. I have nothing to show to the fans so far. In this moment, it's a little bit of faith. As I said before, I'm always open. And that's just it. It's a 300-year storm on Jupiter. Exactly. 300-year storm. It's crazy. It's crazy. 350 years. Yeah, I've got my timing wrong. I'm a bit frazzled. Been live for ages. But yeah, again, he'll openly admit too, I have nothing to show to the fans so far. Yeah. But yeah. Anthony says, squad doesn't fit Amorim, no money. What do you do? Josie says, I wonder if Marcel still thinks this is fine. I don't even know where Marcel is. I don't know where he is. Yeah, let's go to another call. Let's go to Chatterboy Comics. Is this the new rock bottom? Is this a new rock bottom for us? Where do we go from here?
Hello, Owen. It is rock bottom, but the only problem is that it could get worse. Before we get into the game, I just want to give you a snippet of our famous rivals, Leeds United. So the few seasons before they got relegated, they finished 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then 15th. And then they got relegated the next season in 19th, right? And one of the biggest problems they had were financial difficulties, and they had over-leveraged, paying too much stars. They couldn't, afford to sustain their club, and they ended up going down. So that's a cautionary tale for Manchester United to understand the stakes at which we're at. Before this game came, I felt like I called it the £1 billion game, or the game that was going to either set us forward or set us back 5 years. And unfortunately, we lost it. And so now we have to be really honest with ourselves and take, very systematic and gradual, steps forward. But before we go into that, just focusing on the game, I just want to say that I'm deeply, deeply disappointed in, our captain, Mr. Bruno Fernandes. And I'm not saying that the whole loss is on him, because everyone has a part to play. You win as a team, you lose in the team. But for the life of me, I couldn't understand his decision-making when we had momentum with the ball, trying to chase a game. And I feel like the occasion took over from him, and it's made me deeply saddened, because he was on an upward trajectory. He had improved his performances, but when it came down to the final, instead of keeping it simple, instead of keeping the ball moving, he always chose the wrong pass. And in situations where the simple pass was to be made, he misplaced that pass. So he's going to go home very disappointed in himself, and he should be. So it was very, very disappointing from there. And then second of all, Ruben Amorim, as many people have talked about today, very, very disappointing coaching display. So the thing is, this game, the previous caller said, no manager should have a game to either save their life or sack them. But at the end of the day, in life, you're given certain moments, and certain moments you either rise to the occasion or you fall short. And this was Ruben Amorim's chance to coach the game of his life, to get us, we had enough rest. We had enough, player rotations. People came back, on the bench. We had a squad, and Amorim had a job to coach this performance. And unfortunately, while I didn't agree with the starting lineup, I said, okay, no, it's fine. I can see the vision. I would have probably started Ugarte and Casemiro, put Garnacho in the 10, Ahmed wing back, but I can see the vision. But when it wasn't working, this is when your money, is earned. And he didn't make the requisite changes. And as a result, the faith that I had in Amorim, and I'll get to where we go from here, but my faith in Amorim has gone almost completely to zero. Not because I don't think he's a good coach. I won't go that far, but because he has given me nothing. When in the biggest, sort of the largest stakes, he ended up, sort of wet in the bed. Now that being said, I don't think it's his fault, as many callers have mentioned. This is on Ineos and the shit show that we have. Now, I know Show mentioned that, the decision to keep Ten Hag was the catalyst of this all. But I actually think it's the decision to sack him after deciding to keep him that was the problem. Because if you are worth your salt as a organization and you do long-term plan and you have a vision, and you, after a long review, decide to keep a manager, and in that same window, you force him to sell one of his biggest, contributors in McTominay. You force a midfielder onto him in Ugarte that he clearly didn't want, and you basically, put this pressure on him to deliver. And the first moment of not, of a little turbulence, you shit the bed and you sack the guy and you bring a completely different coach who asked to come at the end of the next season. Don't give him the players. Don't back him in the January transfer window. This is what you're going to get. So that's 100% on Ineos. And something else I do also want to bring up that's 100% on Ineos. And on that freaking rat, Mr. Ratcliffe, I do not like him. At the Man City game, I told this guy rubbed me the wrong way because he is meddling in our business that he shouldn't concern himself with. We have sacked so many people from our club. We are a sad club, as Mourinho said. We're a sad club. If you ask any single championship team, a team that's won a championship, what do they always say? They always say that there's a connection from the fans to the staff to the players to the coaches. Everyone is singing off the same hymn sheet. But when you have half your organization that is nervous, that is like, I don't know if you've ever been at a company when there are layoffs that have been announced, but no one knows. It is the worst place to be, the worst environment. Ineos have created a worse environment than they inherited because of gross negligence and because of lack of foresight or lack of bottle. Now, here's where the problem lies. A good organization would be able to stomach this result and say, you know what? We had a plan. We have a plan. We brought Ruben in for a reason. We have our targets. We know where we're going to get to in the end. That's what a good organization should be able to do. However, because of how much chaos Ineos has left in their path, this game can't even be taken in isolation as just a blip. It now has a magnitude that is greater than it should be because they have a lack of foresight and lack of planning. So am I to say that Ineos should keep Amorim and back him? I would want to say that in an ideal world, but I can't say that because I don't even trust Ineos to make the right decisions if they keep Amorim. And that's the problem. And that's what's making me so nervous about this rebuild. And the sad thing is that because of how incompetent they've chosen to be or proven to be, they're probably thinking, oh, the only way for us to get out of this rut is to sell our academy products. And if they do that, that is going to be the death of this club because they would show that they don't understand the culture and the fabric of United. Now, on Amorim, if he decides to stay, I backed Ten Hag for a long time, not because I just liked the guy in terms of the way he played. I backed him because I felt that the first season he gave us enough to go with. Second season was an anomaly with all the injuries. Third season was where I was going to judge him. He started the third season a bit shaky, and he ended up losing his job because he didn't play Ahmad, right? That was what I felt was one of his biggest sins, albeit with the recruitment. I was too nice on Ten Hag for his maltreatment of Ahmad, right? I thought, okay, he's going to eventually have to play Ahmad. He's going to eventually have to make a good decision. It cost him the job. For me now, Ruben Amorim, if you do not find a way to make Kobe Mainoo work in this system, I do not want you in my club. Not because we'll play a FC, but because we have a pure talent in our club
that many managers would love to have, and you have to make it work. Now, JJ said it exactly right when he talked about Kama Sutra. This 4-4-3-4 or 3-4-3, playing with two isolated, a double pivot in the Premier League gets overrun very easily. If you're going to play two, you generally have to play a deeper block because you can't press as high with two people in the middle. I want Amarim, if he stays, to come back with an additional, sort of feather to his bow. I want to see a three-man midfield. I want to see a 3-5-2. Can you play a 3-5-2? Can you bring someone in to help Kobe? Can you, I don't want to just, keep going down that path. But Amarim has a lot of work to do. But I just want to say that overall, very, very disappointed. And we have a lot of work to do, or else we could be finding ourselves going down the Leeds United path. So it's just disappointing.
Disappointing indeed. Big up Chalaboy Comics. Appreciate you as always calling in. We're less than 100 likes away from 500 likes. If you haven't already, click the like button. Let's keep the calls going. Let's go to Chad. Chad, we're in the pits of hell. It seems like. What did you make of it all?
Yeah, so basically, I think that this season has been a disaster. In general, I think it's not only Amarim's fault. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. This game, he's made a lot of mistakes. I think it's not starting Ugarte when, arguably, off the ball, he's a massive force for us. You could see that against Lyon. You could see that against Bilbao. He was a big help. So not starting Ugarte was a mistake. The subs. I was watching the game with my brother. He's an Arsenal fan. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. 65th minute, I think Spurs made a sub. We didn't even make a sub until the 70th minute.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, this season, like a few callers have said before me, Ten Hag only got sacked around October, November-ish, which made our season was a write-off. After that, I'm not gonna lie. And I'm bringing in Amarim after that. I think was you throw the manager under the bus anyway, because you're giving him a group of players that like it or not, for a lot of people, these players they've already down tools. I think you could see we were like 4 points off top 4 or something like that, but you could see that their mentality was not there in a lot of games. So they just weren't up for it anymore. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, sorry. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think that even though we shouldn't make the same mistake as backing a manager that's not gonna do it, I believe it's a bit harsh to sack him now. Given that he has a group of players that not completely useless. He still came into in the middle of a season that's basically chaotic. So I think next season, obviously, we have to judge him next season. This final, we all knew we can't judge him off of one game. I've seen a lot of emotional distress after this game from our fans, but we can't judge him off of one game. Now, I'm not I'm him or out. I don't like to do that with managers. I've seen also. Is it true that he said he didn't want to walk or something?
Yeah, he said that he wouldn't quit, but basically, if the fans and if the board said that they didn't want him, then he would walk. He wouldn't bother about any compensation or anything like that. But he's not going to quit. And also, he said he's not going to change. And if he's not going to change anything, is he then capable of getting more out of what he's going to have to work with? Now we're not going to be in the Champions League.
No, yeah, I think you're right. We have to be able to adapt somewhat to some teams. We're in the Premier League at the end of the day. It's arguably the best league in the world. And if you can't somewhat adapt your system, I think that's also on Omar Barada and the board, that you get a manager that only wants to play one system and then doesn't stray away from that. Now, I've heard people say they think Ten Hag would have won this game. To be honest, he's won trophies, but I think that was just like the hypotheticals and stuff. If we're gonna sack Amarim, though, I don't want us to sack him mid-season. I want to sack him even before this season or after this season. I don't want to have this same thing happen again.
That's true. I mean, and that's the worry, isn't it? Big up, Chad. Appreciate you calling in. First time call from Chad there. Excellent stuff. No, I think Chad's spot on there with what he's saying. He's saying that, basically, as much as we were saying, if we win tonight, we can't make the same mistake as we did last season. And be like, it's papering over the cracks, and next season would be better. No, it's not. You've got work to do. Now it's the same thing. And that's my kind of worry. That's kind of my lack of belief, if you will, that, all right, if you say, well, we're not gonna sack him, we're gonna back him. All right, 6 months time, you're just gonna get rid of him again. And if you do that, then we say, well, just get to the summer once more. We just get into the summer, and a lot of it just, I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't. I don't see it working out for him, unfortunately. I think also it's right for people to be blaming Ineos. They have fucked this up royally. I do kind of disagree. I don't think it's been him judging on one game. I think it's him being judged on 6 months, and there's no buy-in there. For me as a fan, there's just no buy-in. And I'm kind of depressed now, you know what I mean? Because regardless of what happens, like, let's say, so I see Chris there in the chat, he goes, Cunha, here we go tomorrow. And I know what you mean, Chris, where it's like, even if I saw that, I'd be like, I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? I'm so like, again, depressed, where it's like, now anyone where it's like, regardless of, we like, we got Cunha, here we go, and Delap, here we go. I'm quite concerned, because I tell you what, guys, I'm gonna be fucking miserable. I really am, because I'm just like, it's not gonna make a difference. It might a little bit, but I don't know. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Eminem. Eminem. I mean, I can see you in the chat there saying feels like shit. How are you? Well, we know how you're feeling. What do you think happens next with Amorim? Where do we go from here?
I honestly think he should just walk. I mean, I don't think we're going to sack him. I don't trust. I think they're overcorrecting Ineos. They should have sacked Ten Hag last in the summer. They didn't. And now because they want to keep this manager, they won't sack, and they won't listen to the fans this time. I don't know if the majority of fans are actually asking him for being sacked, to be honest, but
I think really don't know now. I really don't know what people think. I think a lot's turned tonight, to be fair. A lot has turned. Last few weeks, stuff's been turning, but tonight, a lot has turned, I think.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I was willing to give him the chance. I was happy. I even told you that, like, for the Tottenham game, for this game, I expected him to come in with a plan and show us what he can bring to United. But he didn't. He came in very naive. He came with the same game plan that he always has. And one of the issues that Amorim Systems has is he had it in Sporting against a man-to-man press. They can't build up well, and that's what we saw today. That's why people were complaining about Maguire and Shaw. The reason was the press just got the best out of them, got the worst out of them, and Tottenham got the best out of their players, and they got that goal. And that is a huge red flag. You need the best managers adapt. They can adapt. They look at the players, they create the best chemistry, create the best environment to actually give the best on the pitch. Obviously, Oli wasn't a great manager. He didn't get us trophies, but that's what he did well in certain aspects. That's what Erik Ten Hag did for the final in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. People saying that if Ten Hag was here today, he would have won the final, and I agree with that. But I don't think he would have got us to the final. That's a different question in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think he should stay, and I'm really, really worried of if he stays and how the summer will go, because the players we get next, I'm assuming they will just be for an Amorim system, and I'm hoping they are very adaptable, because I don't think this guy is going to be the guy for us at the moment. He is not. He's not just. He hasn't got it in him. I don't think so. He needs to adapt, but he won't, and he never will.
Yeah, I mean, that's the concern, isn't it? With, like you say, with whoever we get in the summer, then are we going to do a summer where, once again, if we give him a summer and he ends up going because he's inevitably going to go, and whoever comes in next, do we then go, well, this guy hasn't got his players, and we on the same perpetual cycle when it comes to all of this? And it's, you blame Amorim to an extent, but then you also look at Ineos and go, they have, I mean, catastrophic is not even a way of overstating it. Look what they have blown this club up in the last 12 months. Like, are we even confident they can fix it? Can they even fix it?
That's the biggest worry for me, especially considering we've got no money from Europe at all. There's going to be a reduction of wages, so that like even more for the players. So that's a benefit. It's somehow for us, but we're going to be in a position where we have to have incredibly well put individuals into the market and getting the players that the smart purchases, the ones that Brighton do. But we don't have that. We don't have a football director. We're trusting Wilcox. Obviously, Wilcox is really good at his job. However, Ratcliffe saying that he trusts Wilcox's vision. Is he the guy who's going to be building the whole squad now? We don't like this. We've got footballing people. We don't have them in the right positions or doing the right actions, right thing. So it's just a big problem. I mean, I'm happy with Kuna's a player that will be a big plus for us next season. Even Delap. However, we need a midfielders. We need another centre back. We need a goalkeeper. I don't trust Ineos to actually do something this season to actually get us players that are beneficial for us, or who are adaptable. I think they're just going to purchase for Amram's system, and yeah, maybe if he stays next season, maybe he'll probably get 12th, and people will call that progress. But I'm too fed up to actually speak straight to be honest. So it's fucking pissing me off.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel, Eminem. Appreciate you. We got a couple of super chats here. Falcon Sheffield says, "Sell everyone who pulled on the shirt today and sacked the manager." Joe C says, "How are United so soft and weak? No physicality, pushed around once we played a non-Euro team. When it became a fight in the second half, United were never going to win." And actually, to be fair, some people were saying that, going, for all of your confidence, we have to remember we're playing a Premier League team. We can't play Premier League teams. If it's almost ironic to an extent, like if we were playing a team from the La Liga or Bundesliga, we'd probably have had a better chance. We probably would have a better chance, but we didn't. It's just, oh my God, it's just mad. In terms of any other quotes and what have you from Alejandro Garnacho's brother on Instagram, says, "Working as no one else, helping every round, coming from 2 goals last 2 finals, just to be on the pitch 90 minutes and get thrown under the bus. Wow." His brother's going to get him into more trouble. But this is also the other part of it too, is that now you're probably going to look at a situation where if I was Cobby, legitimately, I'd be looking at it going, mate, I don't fit into this team. We were in a European final. I got on for 2 minutes. If I was Garnacho, I'd be, I think, probably halfway out the door. And this is what Chatterboy Comments was kind of talking about earlier on. And then if we go down that path, we're going to have to sell these academy players just to sort of fund what we already are assuming is mediocrity. That is so alarming. So alarming. And I really don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Appreciate everyone that's called in. Appreciate everyone that's shared their voice. This was a good call-in show. I feel like we might need, it's quite therapeutic. We're probably going to need quite a few more of these, aren't we? If you haven't already clicked the like button, be sure to subscribe. Flex's view from Bilbao is up. So is KG's fan view. Player ratings will be coming as well. Everyone gets a 0. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. I'll be live with Joe Blackburn. I might even go live earlier, I might even go live. I mean, I've literally, how long have I been live today? For like 6 hours. I think I started like 5. I might even go live earlier. I might go live at like 8 or something tomorrow, because I feel like we need an emergency meeting, like something, and people need to vent. And KG is a right puss as well, because he was saying, he wouldn't say anything. He's like, oh, wow, I've got to do this, got that. People are saying that KG is actually dyeing his beard at the moment. So let's have a little bit of comic relief. Let's see if we can get that up for you guys is that you're still here. KG's. There you go. On KG's channel. Fucking hell. He looks. He's ginger. He literally is ginger. Oh my god, KG, man. He looks like Santa Claus. He literally looks like Santa Claus.
It's not worse than that. So this tomorrow will be the biggest cooking you'll ever see. Yeah. So make sure you join me, blood. And KG, do not go anywhere, blood. Do
I'm
not
here.
go
I'm
anywhere.
here.
because
I need to
told
leave.
you.
I need to.
I
No, I'm
told you,
finished,
man.
bro. I'm not gonna lie.
That's
I'm
You man are
done.
finished, blood.
I'm done.
And
I'm
Wobby, yeah? Expressions. Abby Summers, yeah, you are finished. You're gonna get cooked on Best of Enemies by Friday, blood. And when Abby meets you,
It has,
boy,
Chris.
you
It's
are
aged
finished.
him.
You and
Oh
Flex
my
and
God!
Joe
It's
are
aged him.
finished, blood. And you know what? You man deserve this because I've been cooked by every single Man United fan 2 years ago. But
Don't even want to listen. I was not even listening. I'll just watch. Good grief. Look at it. Look at what this club has done. It says, what have we become? And if he's got to dye like it blonde, then he's got to dye it again. It does look like Santa Claus-ish, doesn't it? Oh my god, that's just. It doesn't even look real. Like it doesn't even look real. Like I'm half expecting to like it to be him to pull it off or whatever. Oh my god. Jeez. Well, there you go, guys. At least that was something, wasn't it, at the end of this? Yeah. Click the like button. You'll be redirected to KG stream. I'm out of here. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Peace.